This is also interesting.
Okay, all set.
Oh, okay. So we are live, I see.
Oh, we are.
Oh, we are. So, hi, Dr. Sakamoto. So nice to have you on our channel, CSUDH Toro Pep Band. How are you doing?
I'm well as great as I could be, I guess, during this time. Thank you for having me. This is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
This is our first series, actually, of doing an interview with musicians and band directors. And we're so excited to hear what you've been up to, um, and how you've been dealing with this pandemic.
Mhm.
And you also direct the CSU Bakersfield Pep Band, so we're very curious what you guys are up to and what you've been doing, what kind of activities you have done, before COVID and after COVID. So
Mhm.
yeah, and we're hoping that we can have our band members ask you questions as well later on. So yeah, so Dr. Sakamoto, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm the director of instrumental studies at CSU Bakersfield. I teach the concert band, symphonic band, or chamber orchestra, pep band, and several conducting and music education courses. I've been here since 2012, and uh, taught many other classes as a lecturer, and then as a assistant professor, and all, being on the tenure track. If you guys know what that even entails and all that, which I didn't know until I was in grad school. And I'm actually from. I'm not from Bakersfield, obviously. Well, I'm not sure how obvious that is actually, but I was born. I was actually born in Okinawa because my dad was a Marine. Not a Marine.
Oh,
He
I
was in
didn't
the
know
Air
you were
Force.
actually born in Okinawa.
Yep, Canada. Yep, the Air Force Base, and
Oh, in Canada.
and then we moved.
Wow.
Yeah, and we moved to Vandenberg Air Force Base in Lompoc in Central California when I was 5, and then moved down to San Gabriel, Rosemead area, the East LA area, and that's essentially where I grew up, is East LA. So so not too far from Dominguez Hills. Actually, it's not that bad. Well, traffic, yeah,
That's
it's bad,
true.
but like in distance,
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going to Cal State LA for my undergrad in music
Mhm.
education, and then went
Mhm.
on to UCLA for my master's and doctorate, and where I met you. And and looking at some of the faculty, I see people that I know, like uh what's I forgot his last name, Chuck, the special ensembles director, and I think he's directing your orchestra, and Virginia,
Chuck
who we
Dickerson.
went to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So those of you, Dr. Sakamoto and I, we went to UCLA together. Yeah, I was an undergrad, and Dr. Sakamoto was actually a TA for the UCLA marching band back then.
Yeah, and I didn't
Yeah.
do much because with marching band at least, but like with the wind ensemble and symphonic band, that was a lot of
Yeah.
fun,
Well,
and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it let me grow quite a bit and grow up in both, I guess,
Yeah, and
musically and
you were getting your doctorate then, right?
masters, and then
A
doctorate. I
master's
stayed
and
for,
doctorate.
yeah, yeah. And
Mm,
then you guys have Virginia, the clarinet teacher there,
yeah.
Dr. Figueredo or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I kind of know Dr. Jarrett, Kathleen Jarrett as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
are there music majors in here? I'm assuming, yeah. In the pep band for you guys.
Yeah, we have several music majors.
Mm. Yeah,
Alan,
so
are
it's
you a
nice to have.
music major? I don't know. Hello?
Yeah, it's nice to have that
Can he
connection,
hear us?
and
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to
yeah.
mute from
So
like 3 different spots so that I don't accidentally talk over you guys. Yes, I'm a music education major.
excellent,
Okay.
excellent, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe,
Yeah.
Jonathan, are you also a music major? Were you?
Music education.
Music education. Yeah. So we have
Yeah,
several
right
music
on.
education majors here.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's nice to be here, and being able to I guess it's kind of part of the journey of this long journey of being in music and teaching and seeing colleagues and people you've gone to school with like doing great things and and Dr. Inoue, like awesome player, like just it was awesome seeing you work with my students at CSUB.
Yeah, that was a
And
lot of
you know
fun.
yeah, and it's just it makes me feel so old because I could still remember the good old days when we had maybe less responsibilities to worry about.
That's true.
And yeah, but no, but I mean, but it's like we're doing the thing that we wanted to do, so it's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
something
and to
to
be
be proud of.
able to yeah, and to be able to be in the music industry, music field,
Yeah,
it's a wonderful thing,
yeah.
and yeah, and you have several ensembles you said that you teach at CSU Bakersfield. You have when do you do wind ensemble
The technically the concert the nomenclature is
concert band?
kind of weird. Yeah, it's concert band
Mm,
and the top group, and then the symphonic band is
hmm.
the one where CSUB students, like any CSUB student, could join.
Yeah.
Pet band is similar to that, and pet band is of course our biggest group because it's just developed into something that's fun and all of that,
Mm.
and I could talk about
How?
that later. I
Yeah.
forgot the sequence of questions, so
No, 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 no. We this is totally, we can go in any way or another. But
yeah.
since you mentioned about your pep band, how many members are there?
So, well, first of all, I'll clarify that
Sure.
pet band is actually in addition to my regular teaching load, so it's
Mm-hmm.
extra. Like,
Mm.
and to make a long story short, that was because when I got to Bakersfield, I wasn't full time, but I moved up here anyway, and then they added pet band to it, and then they added more classes, so pet band became something extra. So it's like um it's extra. So
Mm.
therefore, since it's not part of my teaching load, we unfortunately don't have it right now. But I mean, there's
Oh.
nothing. Yeah, but there's nothing for us to do really. If I thought about this Discord thing, maybe maybe I would have done that, or likely like just told the student leadership, hey, this Dominguez Hills is doing this, y'all do it, and
Yeah.
they'll probably do it.
Um,
You
yeah,
know.
we want to
But
call
yeah,
ourselves we want to call ourselves the one of the first college bands to be on the Twitch, having a Twitch channel and
yeah,
having a show on it, and it's to be communicating with the Discord. And
yeah,
I didn't know anything about this until our the director of esports, Ruben
hmm,
Caputo, has mentioned about this whole world of what's going on with the video game world and also the
yeah,
music world in the Twitch channel. So I saw this as
yeah,
an opportunity to grow, be active as a band while during this
yeah,
pandemic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I would have made more effort to it if it was part of my teaching load. I'll just leave it at that. But it's not, so don't try not to work for free, students. Don't work for free. But
Yeah.
yeah, so basically we have that last year we had 55-ish. Of
Wow.
course, people join and then they discover like it's fun, but it's a lot. It's a time commitment, and then they
Hmm.
kind of just a couple of them drop out here and there. But
Hmm.
we have we have we have a quote unquote drum line. It's more like to, it's not like the competitive drum line. It's just something that complements the pet band, drum set player, and a pretty good number of good balance of wind, brass and woodwind instruments. And so it's grown pretty well. I think it's the fact that we do offer scholarships and we offer we're Division 1, so we get to go to the Western Athletic Conference tournament every year,
That's
which is in Las
great.
Vegas.
That's
And
awesome.
that's basically a whole week of being in Vegas to play a game, maybe a double header, and then just the rest of
Hmm.
the day you go to your hotel
Hmm.
room and you practice or study,
Hmm.
so,
Hmm.
which I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, right. So it's a lot of fun for me as well. I like to do my score studying at that time as well.
Hmm.
And that's been a big draw. And as we were lucky. I mean, yeah, we were kind of lucky to actually win the tournament in 2016. So we got an automatic buy, not a buy, but we got into the big tournament. So we got to go to Oklahoma City and get our butts kicked by Oklahoma. and then the next year after that, we got to travel to the NIT because they made it to the semifinals. And so we got to go to New York, Madison Square Garden. That was really
Wow.
awesome,
That's
and I would have
awesome.
never
That's
expected. Yeah,
that's for basketball, right?
yeah, basketball.
Yeah.
We mainly
That's
play basketball, men's and women's home, but
mhm.
we've also dabbled in some volleyball as well.
Mm.
And this season we were supposed to move to the Big West, I believe, but the pandemic where no one's playing and competing, so
Mhm.
we won't really see what that's like until next year. So, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
been pretty nice.
Yeah.
I and I usually what I usually do is make sure that they're rehearsed and they learn the music. I do a lot of the administrative work, and I do have usually have a student conductor run the group as well. And in
Mhm.
terms of like actually conducting them and running things during the game and communicating with the
Wow.
score table, all that
Mhm.
stuff. So
Yeah.
so
So
it's
you're
been
giving responsibilities to all the students, including getting
yes,
the music and, like almost like a librarian and
yes.
the conductor and
Wh- And it's nice
organizer.
because for the music education majors that's in the pep band, it gives them an
Mhm.
opportunity to get some hands-on training before they actually have to do it again for their
That's true.
for the job. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been nice.
It's
It's been
almost like a internship kind of thing
yes,
to actually get a hands-on experience.
yeah,
That's a very good idea, and
yeah,
I'm hoping I can get to that next level once we have a little bit more members in our group in our pep
yeah.
band. It's extremely difficult when we have a small group of students. I mean, it's not impossible, but um, I'm hoping that we can grow this into a
Yeah,
community.
I think we talked about me and you personally talked about this a little bit because I know how like you really wanted to grow, and I think I mentioned we started with 10 people back in 2012,
Mm,
and it just kind of steadily grew and grew and grew, but it wasn't it was very slow. It
mm.
was a very slow growth process. So
What
um
was like
it,
one of the couple things you've done to actually, went from a very low number to kind of when did you see
I
that and
think
how did you make that happen?
I think that what helped was the Las Vegas trip and getting and just
Mm,
simply letting people know about what we were doing, like
yeah.
giving them this opportunity, like because sometimes high schoolers get into college and they don't want to for whatever reason they like the pep band environment and they don't want as much pressure that they may perceive to have in concert ensembles.
Mm-hmm,
um
mm-hmm.
and so it's sorry for using this term, but it's almost like a gateway drug. Like they get into pep band and then I convince them to be in symphonic band and they, oh, this is pretty cool. So it's yeah, jeez, man, I better watch what I say. But it's
Has any of
kind of
them
like
converted into a music ed major after joining?
yeah, I actually have several. There's one very
Wow.
there, for lack of a better term, there's one very special individual. He's a chemistry major,
Mm-hmm.
and he was pretty much done with his chemistry degree until his
Mm.
last semester when he pulled me aside and he said, Dr. Sock, I this is not what I want to do. I want to teach music. And so he just
Oh,
changed at the last minute.
what?
And now he worked hard. He was president of the NAFME chapter at CSUB, the National Association for Music Educators. We
Mhm,
started a chapter a while back, and that's been flourishing quite well as well.
mhm,
And he's going to do well. And so
mm,
yeah, people get the bug, and people see, um, yeah, they just realize in their hearts that this is what they were meant to do,
mm.
and for some other people, it's not what they were meant to do, and
Sure.
they just want to play for fun,
Mhm.
and that's it's all good.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the band became sort of a vehicle for people to know, um, you
yeah,
know, uh, to see what they would like to do
yeah.
in the future as well. Yeah.
And for the pep band itself, it's just like letting people know we actually have a pep band, and
Yeah.
that was kind of harder than I thought. To just getting emails out and posters, all that social media, which
Mhm,
I feel old school in that I'm trying to avoid all that stuff, especially right now, for
mhm,
very many reasons. But it's crazy to see how students now they're just so savvy about that social media hashtags and how it's funny to see the older generation try to catch up, but they're always just a little bit behind.
I know. You even saw me earlier. I was like, he's like, oh, that's the pop box button. I was like,
Yeah,
where is that?
and and and
Yeah.
for me, it's kind of interesting because I still feel like I'm between generations in a
Yeah.
weird way. Like
Yeah.
I identify as a very old millennial, because I could do tech stuff pretty okay,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm seeing things with the younger people, and how things were different, and I'm starting to see that, and
Mhm.
that's starting not starting to, but that's continuing to influence and inform the way I teach, and and interact as well. So yeah,
What kind
sorry,
of
I'm like bouncing.
No,
Go ahead.
no, no, no. And what kind of platform, have you been using with, for example, with your students and thought it was effective? Do you even does the I don't know, for example, Pep Band, do they use any social media platform to communicate, or use it for an education tools, or what kind of things do you
There's
use?
this app
Yeah.
called Band, like marching bands and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Band dot app.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the address. I don't know. We've been using that. I might be convinced to use Discord. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But
Mm.
again, because of the pandemic, I'll be able to look into some options and see what's most effective as a communication tool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's much easier to use something that the students are actually used to and they use already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I tried to get them to use Microsoft Teams because CSUB uses Microsoft, Office 365, and just this week I told them it's trash. Let's not use it. Just email me because I tried to use it as an office space,
Yeah.
and then basically people said, "Oh, this is just Discord, but like it's worse."
Wow, and
And I
then you
didn't.
finally
And
made the move today to create a
well,
Discord.
yeah, because of you guys, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It makes me feel hip. It makes me feel a little younger. It's all good.
Yeah, it was also my recent discovery as well. And to be able to video like this and also use the audio, you can call each other,
Yeah.
and also you can chat, and you can have different servers and channel on it. You can divide what you organize what you're going to
Yeah.
talk about. So it's yeah, it's pretty helpful. And we even share our music on Discord now, because
Oh, I saw. I
everybody
was snooping around it. Yeah, I was snooping around these links and stuff. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
Someone's a
we're
Zelda
trying to
fan.
make
Yeah.
yeah, so we saw this Twitch as a big thing. And of course, Twitch viewers, uh, there's a lot of video game players. So we saw,
Yes.
what if we played a lot of video game music? And yeah, so that's what we thought about. And we have a couple of arrangers in our band members. So we're
hmm
going to have different people arranging music for us. So our first
Oh,
project was by
awesome.
Alan. Yeah, by Alan, doing Gerudo Valley. Did I say that right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
from
so. Yeah.
Zelda.
Yeah.
They probably
Awesome.
call it something different in Japanese. But yeah, so we're gonna get that going. Hopefully, put it together, virtually. We can, because we
hmm
can't play together right now. So put it together, and then hopefully we can stream it at some point on the Twitch channel. So
Awesome.
that's
Yeah.
our
Please
thing.
keep me updated. This is cool, and
Yeah.
maybe this might be a great opportunity to connect this two pet bands together. We actually the school asked me to rename the band because they didn't want pet band anymore. Like they want, like Fresno State. You went to Fresno State. They have Bulldog Beat
Mm.
and all that. All that
Mm.
creative names. And then
Yeah, they've
so
gone
maybe
another
me. I
level
just
though. They have like a marching band and like a jazz
yeah.
like thing, and
See
yeah,
that
there
I
there are
think
so
that's
many.
what makes CSUB and Dominguez Hills. I believe you guys don't have a football team, right?
No, we don't.
Us too, and I think that makes a big
Mm.
difference
That's
because
true.
if we had marching bands, then there's your pep band,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it is,
But
it is what it
but you
is,
guys have
and
the Division 1 basketball team, so
Yeah,
That is a
yeah,
great, thing to have.
yeah, yeah, and that was like
Yeah.
years in the making, and yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
so anyway, wait, they asked us to rename the group, and then I just had the students decide, and they came up with the Big Blue Runner Crew, and so
Oh.
that's our official name. And I'm always slow to be like pep band. Oh, actually, we're the BBRC, whatever. And I mean, they decided it's their band. It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna hold my opinion to myself
Well, yeah,
if
and
I
it's
can.
it's better when students actually pick out
Yeah,
the
it's
names and
growing on me. I say. I think it's growing on me,
oh,
but
yeah. So
it's a mouthful.
Bakersfield is the home of road runners?
Roadrunners, yeah, they're
Road
runners. Yeah,
runners. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's why you guys got the runners from, I guess.
yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
So
so that's our
so
pep band.
yeah, that's cool.
Mhm.
And are they meeting in any way? Are they playing music as an ensemble or pep band or even any ensembles
So
on the
yeah,
Bakersfield campus?
the concert band, the symphonic band, chamber orchestra, we're all meeting virtually, and we're
Hmm.
basically doing the whole virtual ensemble junk that everyone's doing.
Hmm.
Basically, for the class sessions, the rehearsals, we we warm up together, and I usually play my trumpet, and everyone else is muted, so at least they have something to play along with. And then
Hmm.
I ask certain students, please lead the ensemble, and they play their excerpt while we all play. Everyone else is on mute, so there we have some semblance of playing music together. And then I have them
Hmm.
do recorded assignments, and then I spend hours at the computer trying to splice everything together and mixing it and all that. And so the workload has been crazy, and
Oh,
I'm trying to
yeah.
think of a different way to do it, and something just different. I'm having personally, I'm having some difficulty with that, and even asking other
Mm,
people what they're doing. It's just everyone's kind of doing different things, similar things, but I'm gonna make a big effort to try to figure something out to make it more engaging, because
sure.
you could tell, we could tell in the Zoom where the moment where people are zoomed out, it's like, okay, hey, see you next week, or see you on Thursday, and just stop right there.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
obvious.
hard to get that interaction,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So
Like
that's what we've
and
been doing. Basically everything else.
yeah. Yeah, in Dominguez Hills, we have a platform. We were actually outsourcing the for the people for them to be making an audio. When you send in this sheet music, the place where we outsource will make the click tracks and
Hmm.
distribute music to the students, and they'll put together the video for us. And it's a new thing for us, and so we decided to outsource that, and I think that's going to take a lot
Yeah,
of work off the shoulder.
yeah,
So hopefully we can get more
yeah.
videos out as we do that. But
Good.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot of time, and like relearning software too.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, because I've
yeah,
never really worked on creating videos, especially putting together a lot of videos.
yeah.
And yeah, there was a whole.
Same here, like with Logic Pro
Mm,
Final Cut, and even
mhm,
Canvas itself. Like I maybe I taught online like once, and it was like 6 years ago.
mhm,
So having to like do learn Canvas, which is our learning management system, um, it hasn't been bad, but it's still just another thing to do that you don't
mhm.
usually do. And
Yeah.
so it's and as hard as I'm having it, boy, I'm glad I'm not a kindergarten teacher, or elementary school teacher. Like they're having, I mean, I'm sure they're having a blast, right? It's just tough. I have a couple of friends that teach in that grade level,
Mm,
and my heart just goes out to them.
yeah.
It's tough for everyone. So
Yeah, for younger kids to actually sit in front of the computer
yeah,
for even 10 minutes, that's so difficult. So
yeah,
yes, so everything is online for you for
yeah,
Bakersfield, and even for spring 2021 you guys are
yeah,
online.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And
no
I've heard
one's on.
that the
Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard the CSUs will decide in February if next
Hmm.
fall will be online or not, and crossing my
Yeah.
fingers, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I guess they'll be making the decision very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since we've been talking, I thought I would go ahead and have some of the students ask some questions before we move on to the next topic. But
Hmm.
any of you on here, any students, did you have any question to Dr. Sakamoto?
What's your main instrument?
Trumpet. That's the only one I could play at a decent level. All kidding aside, I've actually gotten much better since my undergrad years, which is nice. Even though I don't practice as much, it's like for whatever reason, like I think I sound a little better.
Maybe your
I still
lips relaxed a little bit more.
right. I know. And maybe my whole body, like I've been especially after like meditating and being mindful about like what's going on, like oh shoot, I'm getting tense right here. Relax,
Mm,
dude, relax.
mm,
It actually
mm,
helps my
mm,
tone, and it's been helping.
mm.
I mean, I still play like I mentioned with the ensemble, and then after rehearsals sometimes I take out like the hard stuff, my solo repertoire, and try to play through it, and that's been nice too, like kind of revisiting things I worked on. So
Mm, mm, mm.
mhm.
Yeah, so did you, when you were music ed at as an undergrad, did you
See,
take lessons
mhm.
and did you you probably
Yep.
played a lot of repertoires on trumpet, I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave us for the lower division it was 30 minutes, and then for the two other the upper division I got an hour lesson each week, and then
Mm,
I didn't have to do a junior recital, but I had to do a senior 30-minute recital. So the music ed majors weren't held, like we didn't have to do 45 minutes or an hour. So but interestingly, at Cal State Bakersfield, all the majors, regardless of general or music ed, which is similar to Dominguez Hills, the general major versus the music ed major,
mhm,
everyone has to if they qualify to do a full recital, it's 45 minutes of music, and
mhm,
sometimes they do, people choose to do a half recital and a half project, like do a lecture recital, lecture demonstration, something like
mm,
that.
mm, mm, mm. Well, did you have any difficulty juggling between like the performance aspect of what you had to do and also the music ed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I managed it very badly. I'll fully admit that, because as I was a junior and senior in college, I did really well in beginning conducting, and for some reason the faculty noticed and they started letting me conduct stuff. Like the choir director told me, "Hey, conduct a piece here." The wind ensemble, obviously the band director really saw some promise in me, so I got to conduct the wind ensemble and um, and kind of co-direct the symphonic band as well as an undergrad, which was awesome, and new music ensemble. So I got a lot of opportunities that helped me out a lot. But what I was bad at was all the other stuff that I didn't want to do, that I was not interested in, like English for music majors class, or like some
Mm.
those other classes that I should have done a lot better. And I've since apologized to those professors, said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I seriously did. Cause I tell them, yo, karma, man. Like cause I have some students that remind me of myself, and I just wanna, you know,
So you can sympathize with them.
absolutely. Cause I'm sorry I was a dumb, I was dumb. And they laugh and like, yeah, we knew, whatever, it's all good. So, but
Yeah,
if I could,
but
yeah,
it's a process, right? It's an experience. You have
yeah,
to go through that, and then when the time
absolutely.
comes, you acquire some knowledge and information as you go on, and yeah, and you turned out
I
great.
found
So,
I've I've been thinking about my age a lot, and how it's really true that age brings a lot of perspective. So a
mm,
lot of things that I might have been sad about or like anxious about, I know it's I know it's going to be all good, because right now, despite everything going on, it's really all good. And so I'm able to put that in perspective, and hopefully I don't annoy my students when they come to me and say, "Oh, something's going on." And I'm saying it's
mm,
okay. I try not to be like, "Don't worry about it," but just telling them, you'll get through it. Um, this too shall pass. So
Well, I have a
definitely.
question here. When did you know you wanted to pursue in music as a profession? Like when did you
My
know?
middle school band director and high school
Yeah.
band director were both a Japanese male, and
Uh-huh.
so at the beginning I thought, ooh, like, is this what Japanese
Wh-
men are supposed to do? Is
where
be
was that
band
at?
directors?
Where was
This is
that
Southern
at?
California.
Oh, and they
East
were
LA.
both
Yeah,
Japanese. Oh.
both Japanese. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. And yeah, I was like, oh, like this is cool. Now I know how important that is because there's something to be said about identifying with someone that's doing something, and just as an aside, that's part of the reason like I like to bring in people that don't, that other than me or like the usual, just to encourage, certain students that I have, doing things that they might want to do and that might, actually inspire them in some way. So that was the first catalyst, like, kind of identifying with that. But I loved competition. I loved marching band. And so I wanted to be a high school marching band director and win trophies and be the best ever, all that stuff. But I found myself kind of lost during my sophomore and junior year and kind of being afraid that I wasn't ready to teach. I will never be ready to teach. I'm not good enough on trumpet, blah, blah, blah. And then we got a new band director, college band director, and my first band director went to Vanderbilt University, and then this other guy, was a grad student at UCLA, and he came and took over. And when he did his audition for his job, my jaw just dropped because he conducted it like you would think he would conduct an orchestra, and that got me hook, line, and sinker about how you could be so beautifully
Mm.
musical just with your gestures, and how that made me feel like I still get goosebumps to this day. Like I could pinpoint the moment I wanted to be like that guy. And
Mm.
and so
Yeah.
that's really what propelled me, like, and I know I'm lucky because a lot of students during, they get to their senior year and they're like, I'm not sure what I want to do. Like I don't know what to do. So I know I'm lucky in that I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Um
Mm.
and so when students ask me about grad school, I try to make sure that they have that passion, like they can't help being this or they can't help but pursue this, because sometimes they just want the doctorate to have a doctorate, and that's a big no-no. Like that's a waste of money, you know um
Yeah, and a lot of time and energy and money. Yes, yeah, and
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and sometimes not a lot of return, to be honest. But
that's
that's
true.
not why we do it. It's not why we
Yeah,
do it.
I felt like there was a wave of people. Well, it's been, I guess, but people going back to school to get their doctorate,
Mhm.
especially when they land on a certain job and they feel more opportunity coming in if they
Yeah,
have that extra um, degree. So yeah,
yeah.
I did everything in all in one. And did you get your doctorate all in one? All in
Yep, I
one.
went. Yeah, I didn't take a break from school
Yeah.
from kindergarten all the way through the doctorate, and I'm lucky again,
Mm,
because conductors usually, especially if you want to teach at the university level,
yeah.
you have to teach public school for at least 3 to 5 years, and then go get,
Mm,
like, if you want to be a university band director or orchestra
yeah.
director, then go get
Yeah.
your degree. Do not skip that. If I could go back
Mm,
in time and do that over again, I would.
yeah.
But
Mm.
again, I'm glad I didn't, and I'm glad I had this opportunity, um, to do what I do.
Because they're looking
Because
for more experience and being
it,
able to direct in for different age levels, right?
different age levels and being able to teach teachers of the next generation.
Mm,
And while I was, while we were building up the instrumental program at Bakersfield, I did get students that may have been, still developing.
mm,
And so sometimes I felt like, wow, this is just like teaching high school, or like even, sometimes, the people that don't have that much experience but they want to major in music, okay, you gotta
I see.
work, and then
Hmm.
teaching them fundamentals, and
Hmm.
that's been very valuable for me as well. Because I mean, when you think about a university band director or orchestra director, you think, oh, they get to just like, they don't need to they just make music and conduct all that stuff.
There's
You
more
gotta
to that.
be
There's
yeah
yeah,
yeah, and you gotta know how to teach. And
yeah,
so yeah, getting experience is a big deal.
right.
And sh- yeah, people that and and also because when people hire for those positions, it's pretty explicitly stated you must have this experience to
Yeah,
be
2
qualified for
years
the
of
job.
teaching experience, or
Yeah.
they always have something like that on a job description.
Yeah, I'm
And
always
if
excited about talking about that too because after being on a couple of hiring committees and like writing
Mhm,
all that stuff, and
mhm,
they all that language is very specific for a reason.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
And being in that community, you start seeing like why um, you hire those people with experience.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm very curious
What?
to hear that. Yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Something that's something else that they never taught me in school, like how to do
that's
committees
true.
and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
Always
yeah.
learning. Always learning.
You learn by experiencing, and
Yeah.
yeah, there are a few. There's a couple of music education majors here, but for example, Barney, you were interested in going into conducting, correct? Are you still there? I don't know if he's here. Yeah. Hello, Barney. I don't know if he's connected.
He's like, oh shoot, I'm on the
We
spot.
can't hear
I
you.
was like, "Nope."
Anyway, he was wondering because in order for him to be studying music, it seems like he needed to have some kind of experience already.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
example, if you wanted to go into master's program, you know, even though he plays the saxophone beautifully and wanting to get into the conducting portion of it, it takes it seems like you have to have some kind of teaching experience and as well as some conducting experience, and it's extremely difficult to get that if you were
I
not in
would
that
say
field.
Yeah, I would say if you're an undergrad that's really desiring to be a conductor getting a master's in conducting or eventually
Mm,
getting to the university level,
mhm,
have a great relationship with your college band director and help them out. Be their librarian. Get them coffee, but and help them out in any way they need,
yeah.
and they might give you an opportunity to run a piece or two, um,
Mm,
and and have some guidance there. I try to give as many students that deserve the opportunity at CSUB to get to do conducting with the symphonic band. They rehearse, they pick the piece, they score study, they have weekly lessons with me, which and for free, which is again, don't work for free, don't be like me, and conduct,
mhm,
rehearse, and
mhm.
get their feet wet and get over the anxiety of being a conductor in front of people, and refine them just to get the experience and videotaping that because that's going to be their audition material for their master's degrees. um and I guess
Mm,
along the same lines of thought, with advice, I would advise instrumental conductors to learn how to sing solfege ASAP and learn how to sight sing anything, all the lines on the score, sight sing, solfege. um uh, be very diligent about that because that's going to put you at a great advantage musicianship wise. So I have some other tips too, but that I could talk on and on about
Sorry, my
that.
connection
And
got a little bit wacky. I'm sorry. I hope
that's
you
okay.
can still hear me. Yeah.
Yep, I could see. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So it seems like you know, it's extremely crucial to be connected with the people. You know,
yeah.
whether you know your university or even outside, it's always to make that connection. Like I think it can
Hmm.
be applied to everything, right? Not just music, but in any other
Yeah.
profession. It's about knowing, you know, who you know and being at a certain
Yeah.
time at the certain place at the right time.
At the same time, being able to back up your stuff and knowing being really good at what you do as well. That's really important, of course.
That's true. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of it is connection
I
as
also have another question here asking,
well. Mhm.
yeah, connection. How long have you been playing the music? I mean, when did you start your trumpet training or music training?
Seventh grade.
Oh,
Yeah, seventh grade. They started late. In terms of like formal ensemble stuff, school
hmm
music, seventh grade.
hmm
I had piano lessons when I was like younger, but I don't remember anything about that. So
hated
I don't really count that.
practicing, right?
Yeah, I don't remember anything about that.
Yeah.
So I would say seventh grade. I started late.
Yeah, because you'll see like string players, they start, or piano players, they start at an age of like 4 or 5. Well, I started piano when I was 5, but
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
for a wind instrument, you can start the instrument relatively later, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of hope in becoming a wind player, I
Hmm.
guess. Um,
For sure.
even if you start
And I
even
would
later.
yeah, and I would even say it's never really too late. Um,
Yeah,
and it's not a race. But
yeah.
um at the same
This
time,
world, at the
yeah,
same time, in this world, it makes it feel like, oh, this person is 16 years old and doing this X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that
yeah,
is being praised, but sure, like you said, it's not a race.
yeah. More
Oh,
questions?
any questions? I think everybody's being shy today.
Oh,
So
I
I
thought
heard
people
that
didn't
you
want to
have
go
a
ahead.
yeah, I heard that you also have a pretty big drum line in the pep band, right?
It's all right. It's r- I guess the last time I saw them it was about maybe 3 snares, 4 basses, two tenor drums. So and no cymbals, nothing like that. So it's big for us, honestly speaking, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's still it's not bad. It's all right. It's a decent size for what it is. Again, it's
Mhm.
not competitive. And there's a school, Utah Valley University, that's in the WAC conference. Um, their drum line is huge. There's about 20,
Mhm.
25 people in it, and they all get
Mhm.
full scholarships. Like
Wow.
for doing drumline.
Wow.
And yeah, so they have the money to do that, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's and they play like it too. They're pretty they're great. So we're not anywhere close to that in terms of
Mm.
like just showmanship and all that, but we make do with what we have. And
Do
we
you
also have a
have
lot of
a
go ahead.
no, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Do you have any scholarship or for your band members?
Yeah, basically I have it boils down to $20 per game. We get about
Mm.
and we play on average 32 games,
Mm-hmm.
and only if you show up. If you show up, you get $20. And so I wait until the end of the semester, and the people that show up the most get the most money.
Oh,
End of story. And so
yeah.
sometimes people end up with a nice chunk of
Mhm.
change.
Sure,
So
yeah. And that's a
yeah,
good motivation too, to
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
to
I
have
sure as
fun.
yeah, I never got paid when I did pep band,
Yeah,
so
I never got
kind of
paid.
jealous.
Were you in marching band or when you were in high school yourself?
Yeah, high school
Yeah.
marching band, and
Yeah.
then at Cal State LA it was pep band, and it was only for like 2 years, and because no one really took charge of it, and then like they tried, and then it just kind of fizzled out. So nothing like what we've been doing, really.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So for um
Can you hear me
yeah,
now?
does any can everybody hear you?
Hello?
Yeah, hi Barney.
Oh,
You're
hey,
back.
sorry about that. Yeah, I'm dumb. It was on push to talk, and I wasn't pushing a button to talk. I was talking to you guys. Hi. Yeah, I was going back to what you were talking about getting that band director experience in high school and having that before moving on to university music and conducting university music at that level. That's what I was always told, and that's what I assumed too. I just really went back to college. I really fell in love with playing my instrument, and I really wanted to go down the performance route and do all that. And I understand like having all that experience teaching all the woodwinds, all the brass, all the percussion. That's like really essential because how else do you communicate to the band? So like I totally get it. I was just wondering like kind of how do you go from here having a performance degree and looking into a master's program, what are your options after that? Is it more logical to just go back and get an education degree, undergrad, and then move into some experience with high schools, or
Oh
keep
no,
moving
no, no, no,
forward?
no, 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 no. What? So I'm just gonna do the whole "if I were in your shoes" thing.
Okay.
Um, um, I there's plenty of people with performance degrees that have teaching chops, and so they get teaching opportunities like either elementary, middle school, or high school, or general music, whatever it is. They get teaching. They start getting some teaching experience. I've known some people that go straight into their masters, um, and and get a master's degree concurrently with the teaching credential. I know several schools do that, and sometimes it's like music education, a master's in music ed, and the teaching credential. Sometimes it's a master's in conducting and the teaching credential, but you'll have to do your own research about what schools offer something like that. Usually, people teachers get the master's degree to get to the next tier pay raise, which is awesome. Which is the legit thing to do. um so that's an option if you don't feel like you want to go through say you graduate soon and then you have to go back to school to get the credential if it's not a blended program, and then you go teach and then you go get the masters. There's a lot of options that you have. For sure, if your end goal is to teach at the university level, yeah, just the teaching experience is essential. But in order to get into certain master's programs, you would need some conducting experience, and that experience is gonna
Right.
probably be in middle school or high school. Yeah,
Mm.
and and what else? Yeah, I had something else in my mind, but it'll come back to me.
So like
Yeah,
when
so
you I'm sorry. So when you
I'm
said
sorry.
going back to getting that experience or just getting your credential, you can't get a credential without having an education degree, right? Or can you get one
You
as a performance major?
you could get a teaching credential in music if you majored in business as an undergrad. So that's
Oh,
not gonna stop you.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, it will not stop you. Of course, that's not the best case scenario. Like,
Right.
but at least you're a music performance, major, and so that's gonna that. I think if you look at the CSET and all that all that stuff that you need to do for the credential, you'll find that you'll need to make a couple of adjustments, and you'll be able to pass that test pretty easily.
Gotcha.
So
Cool. Thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
because my goal was mainly like I used to want to teach high school for so long. That was just my goal going back to school and doing that. But um, I don't know, just getting back in it, studying with Dr. Chica, and I really want to teach that higher level of musicianship. I think, and not that
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just something I was shooting
No,
for, and that's just
I
what I'm
relate
doing.
to you. Yep, I relate to you 100% with that. Yep.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I'm easy to find. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to, communicate with you about that.
Appreciate that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so as a student, I think it's also important to be connected with the local schools and,
Yeah.
just to show your face and just to, what's going on around you, to just to get a feel out of it. So it's very possible that, you said they might be able to give you like a piece to conduct. And I think that's where you just start. And
Yeah.
even as a musician myself, I had to start somewhere. And we all, when we become a professional musician or professional, we have to start somewhere. But we have to, grab every little bits of pieces, what's going around
Of
us.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just finding those
opportunity.
opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and starting early, right? Starting when you are a student, it's extremely crucial. When you start working, or when you get out of school, you're gonna start feeling like you don't have a whole lot of time to do that anymore. Maybe as a student, you don't have time either. But with schools and work and all the things you have to deal with, but while you're a student, I would advise to use your time very efficiently and try to get as much experience as possible, I would say. And I think Dr. Sakamoto, I think you would agree on that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for sure.
Did anybody else have any question to Dr. Sakamoto? I guess that's a no. I was wondering if I could show a clip from your Bakersfield band.
I guess so.
Yeah, can we take a look at it?
I'm
It's-
always sure. Go ahead. I'm always self-conscious about this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think
Go
Alan
ahead.
is
Yeah.
getting that together. Would you be able to do that, Alan?
Yeah, just give me a few seconds to actually
Okay.
make it visible.
Yeah.
And
So
Is
there's
it the all I do
nothing.
is win clip?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that was
Okay.
pretty cool with the movement. Do you know with those movements and everything? Do you tell them to do that, or do they just come up with
Heck
all
no,
the
they come up with all this crazy stuff. I have yeah. I show up and they do things. I'm like, dude, what? It's awesome. It makes me want to
Yeah.
go grab my trumpet and play with them. Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
isn't it?
sometimes I do it.
Yeah.
Like yeah, sometimes I actually do. It's awesome. It's so
Mm,
energetic.
yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
remember I have other jobs to do. So
But at least you have the conductor and the
Yeah.
leader who can run
yeah, we always
run the
we always communicate. We always kind of check in with each other and all that.
Mhm.
So
okay,
Mhm.
we're set.
Awesome.
So
Let's take a
I'm gonna unmute that
look.
and let's play. Yeah, it's playing.
no, but you guys, sorry. I can barely hear it, but that's good. Dang.
We need one of those. We need a drum set.
Yeah, we need a
drum set.
drum set and we need a bass player and a huge
Matt,
drum line and
y'all need to find a great drum set player. That makes such a big difference. Like there's some of them are just grooving. They do. It's amazing what great drum set players could do. And usually they play like they don't need. Sometimes they don't know how to read music. They just do it all naturally, and I'm just in awe of them. But yeah, that's a lot.
yeah, and
Shoot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's bringing you back memories, I guess, by watching that.
I miss them a lot. I miss them so
Yeah.
much. Just don't tell them. I need to. There still needs. They need to fear me still. Like yeah. They can't know that I actually love them a lot. I tolerate.
I'm
Oh
sure
man, I
they
miss
know
them so
that.
much.
I'm sure they know. I'm sure they know.
Yeah, they're fun.
And yeah, and they probably miss playing together, you know,
Yeah.
like how I'm feeling from my band as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had we had a really full drum set. Was it 7 pairs? Was it 8? I can't remember. Of drums that we recently got. So it was brand new and we had everybody playing them and it felt like something was really moving and going forward and this
Yeah.
COVID happened. So
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
last semester?
yeah, last semester.
Yeah,
You
we
were
had-
in it, Ellen.
Yeah, we had 3 bass drums, different sizes. We had a 2 snares. I think at one point we had 2 quad players, and there was a short time where we had a cymbal person, and then COVID hit, so
Oh,
that
okay.
fell
Yeah,
through.
yeah,
But yeah, we were
Yeah.
pretty full.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now we can't go back to the school, so you know we can't get those equipments. Of course, obviously we can't
Yeah.
play together, but yeah, I
And
really miss
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna say that for me, all since since we started, all these years of building up and building up and building up, and then it takes 1 year, and then it's gonna have to like I'm just really afraid it's gonna be back to square one. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna build it
Yeah.
back up, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's why we, as a pep band at Dominguez Hills, we thought, we have to have some kind of platform and some communicating platform that we can keep it going. So yeah, hopefully we can get more interesting and fun contents out, and yeah, we can keep it going.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good. Any other questions before we wrap this interview? Anybody?
Weren't you guys gonna ask me video game stuff?
Yeah. Weren't you gonna ask him about video game?
We were.
Okay, well, yeah. So
So I
everybody's
guess I have
shy.
one
So
question. Sorry, I'm
okay,
so sorry to interrupt, Dr. Chica.
no, go ahead.
Has your pep band played any video game songs?
Not yet. I want them to do.
Ooh, sorry, my stream was.
Wait,
still
actually, maybe they did. I can't really think of anything. We just do I buy the music, and so we do some mostly the pop stuff, like and things like that. But yeah, like I think I'm aging myself a little bit, but like Guile's theme from the OG Street
my
Fighter
God.
2, like those themes are dope. And I don't know, some random stuff I that's easily recognizable when the crowd's like, oh yay, video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something like I'm interested in doing. I'm sure they're down to do it as well. I think that
Yeah.
what's that game? The UFO game, Among Us.
Among
Like
Us?
there's like this little like the trombone, and that what before you go on to do whatever they do, like that might be like a nice little thing to play after like missed free throws, or I don't know, some stupid thing like that.
Sounds
So
like fun.
just staying current, I think, is cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's true. And it's really cool how, I didn't realize how music in those video games really brings you back memories and takes you back to that moment when you played that video game. And it's an interesting
Y-
effect that music
I
does,
would,
don't you think?
I was super interested in, and I'll try to make this quick, because when you told me this was kind of like a video game esports kind of related thing, that video game music has actually been a core part of why I wanted to get into music as well. Just
Mm,
yeah, very much so.
really?
Just
Wow.
starting from I don't know if people know about these games, but like the soundtrack to Final Fantasy IV,
Yeah.
that was like my first like, oh shoot, this is like sounding so symphonic and epic, and then before long I was like listening to the music and conducting along, like making motions, and that was like middle school, pretending I was some sort of a symphony conductor. And and I realized as I explored soundtrack music and they started to make these arrangements, especially in Japan, like they actually had orchestras playing video game music. I was able to hear acoustic instruments playing these melodies that I loved,
Mm.
and that made such a big difference for me. Um, Another big difference pedagogically was playing Dance Dance Revolution and Beatmania. If anyone knows those games,
I remember
and
that.
when you talk about and when you talk about esports, and um, man, I wish that was a thing back in the day, because I I competed in DDR tournaments and Street
I
Fighter
didn't know
tournaments,
that.
like yeah,
Wow.
like hardcore. Like I should have been
Yeah.
practicing rather than doing all that stuff. I was hardcore than many people realize. Actually, I'm glad there's no footage of that. Making money matches and all that, crazy stuff.
Wow. You were pretty
But
into it, huh?
but Dance Dance and Beatmania, they actually helped me practice with the metronome, because that's
Mm.
essentially percussion with the metronome. The
With
better
the
you are, the higher score you get.
internal beat.
Internal pulse, and
Yeah.
that helped me with jazz rhythms. Helped me with. It's amazing how that got me so in lock with pulse and rhythm.
Huh.
And I actually have Beatmania, especially Beatmania,
Oh, wow.
to thank for that. And
Yeah.
arcades, like when arcades were super popular in the United States, yeah, every weekend, yeah,
You were
big
there, huh?
nerd, all the time.
That's
all the
that's so
time.
interesting how you you mentioned about that beat, playing
Yeah.
video game, music video game. It's
Yeah,
maybe
the rhythms
for
games, yeah.
rhythm games gives you that it's almost like practicing, that
Yeah.
get
Sometimes I realize like I'm playing this so much. Like what am I doing? And then I don't know.
Well, but you were actually doing music then,
Yeah,
so
I learned
yeah,
something. Yeah,
you
I
learned
got something
something
out
out
of
of
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that could
Eh,
be a new educational tool. Playing music, video game music, and then acquiring some
maybe some
yeah
skill in the
skills. Yeah,
context. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's something that's not being talked about. What I was really in agreement with the esports director, and I mean his was that it's about the communication with the others. Being on
Yeah.
Discord and playing the video games. You know, especially I don't know, like my parents didn't really want me to play video games, and I played very minimally as I was growing up, but um, it's fun, and if you can make
Yeah.
that fun moment being related to the academic or education, if maybe not completely everything completely, but if that related into it, I think it could be something that we can
My dad
digest
actually
into.
limited my video game playing for weekends only, and I thank him for that because if he let me play video games all the time, I wouldn't be here. I definitely wouldn't be sitting here in front of you guys right now.
Yeah.
And I love the communication aspect of this because playing games with friends is much better than playing with strangers. It gets real toxic sometimes.
Mm.
There's this other every so often I play there's this game called Overwatch. It's like a shooting game and stuff,
Yeah.
and there's a competitive. Barney, you know what I'm talking about. There's a competitive mode, and then if you mess up once, oh man, it's just like toxic, and I just find myself shaking. I'm so upset. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't say this if you were next to me. Got that screen to protect you. Just and so I stopped playing competitively. I just do casual stuff. I have whenever I have time. So playing with friends is awesome. Like that's the way
Yeah.
to go. Just it's crazy competitive nowadays. I
Yeah.
realize, and now it's all online. And if back in the day, back in my day, if you did that in the arcades, like there would be fights, for sure, It- for sure. I never got into them
Yeah.
because I would have gotten my butt kicked, but so I just kept my mouth shut. But yeah,
Yeah.
competitiveness. It's very interesting. Competition is very interesting aspect because of marching band and other things like and in American culture as well with sports and all that. And it's an
Hmm.
interesting thing to think about. But anyway,
Yeah.
stay away from toxicity.
Yeah. But if sometimes it becomes a motivation, right? When you are,
Yeah,
playing the game and wanting to win so bad. But
yeah,
there's some good motivation and something toxic about it. But so we have to be
yeah,
careful.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're coming towards the end of the hour, but um, anybody else who want to have any other questions? Okay. So,
Ask me
well,
anything.
yeah, ask. Yeah, this is your time. We're good,
Is it
Barney.
so for like recent games? Is it just Overwatch? Do you like any other Blizzard games? Or
I dabbled in WoW a little bit, Diablo 3 a little bit, but with those MMO stuff, once school starts, like all gaming stops for me. It's just too busy,
Mhm.
yeah, there's no time.
and there's really no time for that. But like when quarantine started, like we stopped doing ensembles because we just couldn't scramble fast enough to make sense of it. And by that time we determined as a faculty that we were able to assess and grade based on the work that they did, so I had a lot of free time. And so that's when I started Overwatch again. And
Ah.
yeah, and also like my friend pestered me about playing this other game called Persona 5. It's this RPG thing, and that was amazing. I was not expecting to be blown away by that, especially the music, and that music in the game is great as well. So, but no, nowadays I don't game unless I really have time to.
Just remember your
Yeah.
dad, right?
Oh man, what my Hispanic students say la chancla, like the sandal, like he's gonna come hit you with the sandal.
Oh,
You know, just, no, I think about him
Oh
quite a
my
bit.
god,
Like,
the
yeah,
flashbacks
yeah.
from that.
I guess
I
it's
know,
if it's
right?
Japanese
And
dan and it's like a kendo sword.
Kendo
You know,
stick.
there's-
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that
No,
the chancla.
my dad was really really chill. If anyone knows this anime called Initial D, like the main character's dad is like basically my dad, like cigarettes and like
Aw.
even looking like he looks exactly like that dude, and he was into cars and all that too. So he was chill. So no,
Hmm. So, what's your what would you say? I think you mentioned earlier a little bit, but what's your favorite songs or music you would say out of any of those video games you played? If you could pick
oh,
one.
I can't. But um, if anyone knows a game called Secret of Mana, it's old Super Nintendo game. The
Mm,
boss battle music is amazing. It actually has a long form. It actually has a form. It's not like just a 10-second loop and that's over. Like there's development, and there's like some of the songs in that soundtrack have gamelan influence. It's like real
really? That's
cool.
cool.
It's cool, and that's something that I always kind of go back to and listen to.
Mm,
And again, the Persona games or those soundtracks are awesome. In like
mm.
they use funk and like more modern music instead of like symphonic, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They incorporate music in a real creative way, which is cool.
Mm,
So
yeah, and back in the days, they
there's
used a
good
lot
music.
of MIDIs too. Yeah,
Yeah, good
yeah,
music in every form of every genre,
yeah.
the masterpieces, hip hop,
Mm,
R&B, country, everything has masterpieces, and everything has some crap. So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. We'll definitely going to look into it and see if any of those music can be even arranged.
yeah,
I think it'll be fun project to think
yeah.
about. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for having being here today, Dr.
No,
Sakamoto.
thank you.
It's
Yeah,
been so much fun hearing
thank you
you
for
talk
having
and
me.
yeah. And I wish you the very best and please stay safe. And
Yeah, you got everyone else too. Yeah.
yeah, and I can't wait for your pep band also or your new name. I can't remember.
Oh, the Big
To
Blue Runner
the
crew.
the big blue runner crew, yeah. To
And
come back and
yeah. And
go
the
ahead.
students in here, please feel free to if you have any other questions, just contact me. Especially if it's like higher education stuff or career stuff, I'm more than happy to just give you my input, and a lot of viewpoints and perspectives is very really valuable, and I really enjoy giving that giving that out, and hopefully it helps. So yeah, please
All right.
feel free to email me. So, or
Wonderful.
I guess Discord me, whatever y'all you
Yeah, you're on
do.
our server now, so
My students gonna be like, what? Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, well thank you so much and I hope
Yeah.
I wish you the best. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
guys.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.